Maybe you've already noticed this. At the beginning, the body reacts strongly, fever, inflammation, acute reaction. And then over time, symptoms settle in. They keep coming back. They become chronic. Why? Because when the body becomes exhausted, it no longer reacts the same way. Everything we've discussed so far, eliminating, draining, cleaning, requires energy. And without energy, the body cannot function properly. A living organism cannot repair itself without resources. It can compensate, it can adapt, but it cannot truly repair itself correctly. And there is a very common misunderstanding, as if the body's only source of energy came from calories, as if eating more was enough to restore energy. But if that were really true, then eating would automatically increase vitality. And yet, you've probably already experienced this. You are exhausted, you eat, and then you feel even more tired. Why? Because digestion requires a huge amount of energy. And when the body is already running low, it has to choose between digesting or performing all the other physiological functions. And if we put something into the digestive system, the body prioritizes digestion, and then your energy crashes. What this shows is that the body has a certain capacity to function, to adapt, and to repair itself. Some people call this vital energy, others call it resources, adaptation capacity. The exact word doesn't really matter. What matters is what it produces. And we can clearly observe this in real life. A baby can develop a very high fever, a very intense fever very quickly, and usually it does not last very long. Vitality is high, the body reacts powerfully, whereas an elderly person may only develop a small fever, but it can last for a very long time. Vitality is lower, the body still reacts, but much more slowly. The problem isn't necessarily how intense the symptoms are, because very often the more strongly the body reacts, the more it shows that it still has resources to fight. High fever, strong discharge, rapid reactions. These are often eliminations attempts from the body. The real problem is when the body barely reacts anymore. And this is also why some people can appear perfectly healthy for years, very few reactions, very few symptoms, almost never sick. And then one day, something much deeper suddenly appears, because people often confuse absence of symptoms with real health, when in reality, it often simply means that the body stopped fully fighting a long time ago. It no longer fights, it compensates silently. And when it no longer has enough resources to continue, problem can become much more deeper. And in reality, the lower vitality becomes, the more the body has to change strategy. Look at this diagram. Vertical axis is vitality. Horizontal axis is the body's tolerance threshold. And the three major levels of disease. When vitality is high, the body tolerates very little overload. It reacts quickly, it eliminates strongly, it produces acute disease, fever to sweat, mucus to discharge, diarrhea, rapid reactions. These are eliminations attempts from the body. If we observe closely, acute diseases are always centrifugal. The body pushes things outward. But when vitality decreases, the body no longer has the resources to react as strongly. So it starts accepting more overload. It compensates, it slows down, and problems become chronic. The body still tries, but it can no longer fully resolve the situation. And when vitality drops even further, the body no longer even has the resources to fight. So it barely reacts anymore. And this is where degenerative diseases begin. And this is exactly what creates the three major levels of disease. Three major ways for the body to react. First one, I can manage. Second one, I'm struggling to manage. Third one, I can't manage anymore. The first level is the acute stage. It appears quickly, it doesn't last long, and most importantly, the body reacts strongly. Fever too sweet, runny nose, diarrhea. These are elimination reactions. The body is trying to push things out. This is what I call healing crisis. The body reacts immediately. It still has enough vitality to react quickly and powerfully. The second level is the chronic stage. The situation settles in, symptoms return again and again. The body is still trying, but it no longer fully resolves the problem. It manages, but it becomes exhausted. It still tries, but it no longer has enough resources to fully solve the situation. The third level is the degenerative stage. Here, the body has almost no resources left. It no longer truly fights. It survives. Tissues deteriorate. Functions slow down. Capabilities decrease. And this is where we need to understand something fundamental. Today, people often try to make symptoms disappear without understanding why the body is producing them. But very often, the symptom itself is an attempt by the body to manage the situation. Take a skin problem, for example. Sometimes the body is trying to eliminate waste through the skin. And what do we usually do? We block it with cortisone. So we prevent the body from using this emergency exit. But the waste doesn't disappear. It simply goes deeper into the system. And over time, problems often become more complex, more chronic, more deeply established, because we usually look at the body in a fragment way. What happens on the skin today is rarely connected to what may happen later somewhere else in the body. So people think a new problem appeared, when in reality it's often the same underlying logic evolving and moving deeper into the system. So when we constantly work against the body's reactions, we often accelerate the progression from acute to chronic to degenerative. And unfortunately, this is what happens from the vast majority of people. We don't suddenly become sick. We slowly slide from acute to chronic and then toward degenerative disease. And this is also why I actually still wish for you to experience acute reaction, fever, discharge, strong and rapid reaction, because very often this shows that the body reached a level of overload that it no longer tolerates. And it's trying to eliminate what no longer suits it. Of course, it's not pleasant, but it's not necessarily a bad sign. What worries me much more are chronic situations that settle in. Because here the body is still trying, but it can no longer fully do what it wants to do. And most importantly, I hope you never reach the degenerative stage, because at that point, the body has almost no resources left to fight. This is not random. It's not bad luck. It's not a bug. It's the body saying, I no longer have the resources to do what I used to do. And today, many people drain this energy faster than they restore it. The two major leaks are the mind, stress, overthinking, mental overload, and digestion. Too much, too heavy, too often. So too much thinking and too much eating exhaust the system. And when this energy drops, the body no longer drains properly, it no longer eliminates properly, it no longer regulates properly. It does what it can, but it no longer has the resources. Vitality is the fuel behind all physiological function of the body. Without it, even the right actions are often not enough. And when the body starts losing vitality, it's never caused by just one thing, because health doesn't depend only on food or supplements. The body functions through several major balances. And one of these balances becomes disrupted, the entire terrain can start becoming disorganized. And this is exactly what we are going to explore in the next video, the major factors that truly influence health.